Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. And thanks for checking in. Meteorologist Todd Nelson here. We're looking at some thunderstorm development to the north later this afternoon. Not expecting anything severe, but there could be a few pockets of heavier rain as we head into Thursday afternoon, maybe a stray shower here and there, and then quieter Friday out ahead of a front that is going to bring us some pretty widely scattered showers and maybe some thunderstorms into our Friday night, Saturday. So just a general thunderstorm threat across much of the state. Notice that dark green across Ohio. That is a marginal risk. So we had some showers earlier today to the south. Here comes that afternoon shower and thunderstorm potential. Again, a few pockets of locally heavy rain. Time now for our Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. And in Atlanta, we have dry weather through the end of the week here with some isolated thunderstorms developing in Chicago on Friday as well. So panhandle forecast. Again, those thunder showers possible later today and into the evening hours. As we take a look at that forecast to the east, you can see those thunder showers again possible through the afternoon. A little bit cooler off to the west, where we'll be into the 60s. Overnight lows down into the 50s again with some of those thunder showers eventually eroding. Heading into our Wednesday afternoon, Sutton at 68, Webster at 64, and overnight lows again down into the 50s with some of those thunder showers eventually ending. To the south we go, Welch at 75 degrees, Williamson at 79, Logan 76, and overnight lows here down to 51 in Beckley and Somerville at 52 degrees. Extended forecast again showing a couple of stray showers Thursday afternoon. Most of us will be dry. Again, most of Friday should be dry as well until that front slides through Friday night into Saturday. Widely scattered showers and storms and a bit cooler as well into the 70s.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, three,
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie hits a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Wednesday on MetroNews. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Wiggs. Greg Hunter is alongside. And, Coach, good evening.
Good evening, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing well. We've got a lot to do, as usual. Of course, we will get into 23-1.
Well, I guess you can't ignore it, right?
Right.
Wasn't pretty, but can't ignore it.
So what's the ramifications of that? What's the impact? Tyler Barnette, who works the games on ESPN Plus, will join us coming up in just a couple of minutes. RPI went down. Going into last night, Cincinnati had the highest RPI in the league, but they suffered a bad non-conference loss too. They lost to Wright State. So their RPI went down. West Virginia's RPI went down. And now Kansas has the highest RPI in the Big 12 Conference. So big series coming up with Cincinnati on the road Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Tyler will join us to kind of break down what happened last night and look ahead to the Cincinnati series. We'll preview that Cincinnati series. Also, in case you didn't get the word via social media or didn't check the website, 3 guys before the game today. They dropped the new podcast a couple hours ago. They visited with Miles Sadler today.
Yeah, and I got a chance to listen to it, and obviously incredibly highly thought of recruit headed to West Virginia. for next basketball season, and a very entertaining and enlightening interview with Tony, Brad, and Hoppy.
So that's where we're going to start. We're going to tease that a little bit. I'm sure many of you out there have watched it or listened to it, or you may not know about it yet. But if you're driving home, and obviously that's on your to-do list if you're a Mountaineer fan, is meet Miles Sadler via the Three Guys Before the Game podcast. But we've got an opportunity to play a few cuts from that, a portion of that interview. So let's go there. Let's start with that. Tony, Hoppy, and Brad with Miles Sadler. And they talked about his basketball skills and when he knew that he had a chance to be a really special athlete, and he talked about his ball handling skills as a small boy. And obviously that developed through the years, and his speed, incredible speed.
Certainly evident right now, but even years ago, it sounds like he's had that all along. I guess athletic gifts present themselves early.
So Miles Sadler on running a 4.3
So you're fast. I mean, some guys are fast. Some guys glide. You glide. When I watch you play, you glide down the floor. I know it's a football thing, but like, you ever been timed as to how fast you are?
I run a 4.3.
Cool.
So.
Oh, okay.
I can run a 4.3.
There you go.
That was like about a year ago. I think I got that.
And that was a real. Now that wasn't like three guys with like a stopwatch. No, that was like
that
the
was
real.
Like the sensors and all that.
Oh, so you're smoking. Then you're okay.
So you're real 4.3.
That explains it right there. Because we watch you and you're just going like by guys, and we're going like, dude, no one can stay in front of them.
I run a 4.38. That was my fastest time.
Wow. So legitimate 4.4.
Yeah.
So speed without the basketball, speed with the basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Helps be really fast without it, but even more important when you're on the basketball court to have it with it. But if you've seen him play at all, and he's been on TV a ton for a high school kid in the last month or so, but it's evident he's got the speed, he's got the quickness, he's got the entire game.
He's got the shooting ability, and that's the next selection here. Ross Hodge came out and watched him play in person for a bit. He said that Coach Hodge came to Arizona to check him out, and they had a conversation. I'm sure they had multiple conversations, but one of the conversations, Coach Hodge encouraged Miles Sadler to step back a bit, shoot further, right? Because you're gonna be guarded like you've never been guarded before when you come into the Big 12 conference. So Miles said he made that a point, is to shoot from longer distances.
Hey, let me ask you this. Ross told me that he had watched you recently, not all that long ago, and you said, hey, Coach, what do I need to do? Or he may have suggested to you, hey, in the Big 12, you're going to have to shoot it from a little further back from the three-point line. And you went like, oh, yeah, okay. And so he watched you play or was watching you go back up and down, and you just started bombing from long distance. And you looked back at him and you said what?
Yeah.
That far enough, Coach? Hey, Coach, is that far enough for you?
I truly did ask him, like, yo, is this far enough? Like, I looked at him, like, yeah. Because he was in Arizona for a week or for a weekend, I think, and we were just having some open runs. And one thing, like, he pulled me to the side and he was like, I see you're making shots. Like, I already hit like 3 threes, but like they're all at the line. So he's asking like, you got to start shooting further. So I'm like, all right. I mean, I know I can shoot further, so I'm just gonna show him that I can shoot further.
Yeah, step back, shoot further, and of course the guys went on to ask him about how much he got a chance to watch this year's WVU team, and he said, well, I'm busy, I'm playing, not a lot, but he said he did watch the Crown, and like us all, incredibly impressed with Honor Huff.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not certain his range goes to, at least right now, it goes out to where Honors ended up being this season. But that's a good person to emulate. Though, I mean, different players. I mean, Honor was shooting guard, and certainly Miles is going to be a point guard, ball handling, scoring guard, though they both are diminutive guards as well. Neither of them, Miles is sort of saying he was
5'10" without shoes.
Yeah, exactly. So Brad was getting on him. Well, you play with shoes on, so rate yourself there. Thus claimed 6 foot, but neither are big guards. But both obviously we saw Honor this year. He can play, and it certainly looks like Miles is not going to have any problem making the adjustment to this level.
Okay, one more from Miles Sadler, and again, we encourage you to check out the podcast. It's out there. Wait till our show's over, and then
please.
Then check out the podcast. But there's a connection between him and Mo Sela.
Yeah, both are played at the same prep school. Didn't necessarily play a season together. There was a little crossover, though, in some off-season work. So he knows Mo Sela, who, of course, is transferring to West Virginia from Georgia Tech. And obviously he's going to be joined in Golden Blue uniform next year by Miles Sadler.
So Miles Sadler on, again, that connection with Mo Sela.
Miles, let's talk about a couple guys that are going to be teammates. I know you weren't at Bella Vista necessarily at the same time with Mo Sela, but if I have it right, you've played in some events with him. Give us a quick scouting report on what Mo's game is like and what that's going to be like playing with him.
The scouting report. Probably one of the most athletic human beings I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
Like, this guy, I've seen him, like, just we had practice at 6 a.m. He's waking up. He doesn't stretch. Doesn't do none of that. And he comes on the court and he's dunking everything. Like, layups are blocked. Nothing's being scored. You're not making jump shots because he's blocking jump shots. Like, he's an animal on defense and on offense.
You just get it anywhere near the rim and he'll go get it, right?
Put it, and he doesn't really even have to necessarily be around the rim.
Just get it up in the air.
Just throw it up and he'll get it.
That's good. Good.
So the combination Miles Sadler to Mo Sela, we'll get that locked in pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. I got a feeling that'll be a combination we'll talk about once or twice once we get to basketball season.
So Miles Sadler, the guest on Three Guys Before the Game, and that got put out there about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So listen to our show or watch our show first, and then if you haven't listened to the podcast, go check out Three Guys Before the Game. That was great to get to know that young guy, and good personality, of course, and great character, and it's going to be incredible to watch him in a Mountaineer uniform starting, well, I guess this summer, right? And into the fall when practice starts and the season coming up in November.
Yeah, he'll be here. Usually most of those kids are enrolled in going by early June, beginning of June. So he'll be in Morgantown before you know it and get going. And again, from a selfish media standpoint, his personality is going to be really enjoyable during interview sessions.
304 Talk 304, that's the text line. We'll take the text. We'll get into some football a little bit later on when we return. How big of a deal was it? The game last night, Pitt beating West Virginia 23-1. Mountaineers just need to move on, get ready for Cincinnati this weekend. Tyler Barnette of ESPN Plus will join us, and we'll talk in depth about the Cincinnati series coming up. This is the CityNet statewide sports line. We're in the Health Plan Studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years, the Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family owned for over 40 years. Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps. And never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
CityNet statewide Sportsline on this Wednesday night. Thanks for joining us, Kyle and Greg, in the studio. With us, ESPN Plus Mountaineer baseball analyst Tyler Barnette. He suffered through it last night, like the rest of us, 23-1. Pitt beats West Virginia. First of all, Tyler, good evening. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what do you make of this?
Well, it's not time to burn everything down. I mean, that's one way to put it. West Virginia actually went up one spot in the RPI last night, so not a massive drop. Pitt gained 7 points, and I know this pains West Virginia fans to hear, but actually now you kind of have to root for Pitt the rest of the way because you want that quad 3 loss to turn into maybe a quad 2 loss to help you as things move forward. BYU losing the series to Arizona State didn't help because West Virginia swept BYU, so now that quad 2 sweep turns into a quad 3 sweep. So now we're in the point of the year where you kind of have to have rooting interest if you're a West Virginia fan.
Well, Cincinnati went into the night with the highest RPI in the league, and they lost a tough non-conference game too. They lost a game they shouldn't have to a Wright State team that's under 500. So their RPI took a hit, and I guess Kansas is the top-ranked RPI team now in the league.
Yes, Kansas winning a game against Nebraska yesterday, and Nebraska sitting at 13 in the RPI. Kansas beating Nebraska. Now it is at home, so doesn't have as much weight as a road win, but still a good win for Kansas. And one of the good things is you get to play Kansas. So it's not one of those things where West Virginia's on the outside looking in. You're West Virginia sitting at that number 27 line, dropped 10 spots from 17 over the last week with the loss to Houston and the loss to Pitt. But, you're not outside looking in. You really do control your own destiny, and it starts this weekend at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, 24 in the RPI. Like you had mentioned, second behind Kansas in the Big 12. You play both of the top 2 RPI teams in the conference.
So, Tyler, certainly baseball can provide some of the most bizarre results. One day you're great, the next day you're awful. Obviously, West Virginia wasn't very good. Anything to take away long-term from West Virginia's performance yesterday, or you just chalk that up as a one-off?
I think you just chalk that up as a one-off. Baseball is the most humbling game out there. You see some of the best hitters fail 7 out of 10 times, and West Virginia, as of late, just hasn't been hitting the ball well as a team. But, pitching and defense has really driven them throughout the year. And you've got to think, if you've seen it over the last 2 years with West Virginia's push into the super regionals, that offense has come alive at a certain point. So when is that offensive spark going to happen for West Virginia? It might just be right here at the end of the year to propel you into a hosting situation.
Okay, let's look ahead to Cincinnati. Again, just flush it, move on. Coach Steve Savins basically said the same thing. This happens. You have a game or two like this every year, and sometimes you're on this end of it. You're on the horse. You're on the horse end of it. So you move on. Cincinnati, though, is crucial because, again, it's obviously you want to stay in the hunt to win the league, but probably more important is trying to stay in that top 16 to host. So if you look at it from that regard, these 3 games are crucial.
Very crucial. Honestly, if you sweep this weekend, you are looking at getting yourself right back to where you want to be. If you can sweep Cincinnati and you can sweep Kansas, that's optimal. But I think West Virginia has to get to the point where they sweep 2 of the next 4 series, and you have to win the other 2. So the Houston loss really hurt. The Pitt loss, it hurts, but not as much as dropping that conference game to Houston. But there is still time to fight and claw your way back. And I strongly believe that if West Virginia gets into the situation where they win the rest of their series and they sweep at least 2 of them, that they might be back in that 16-17 line where they could be in hosting conversations.
So, Tyler, does West Virginia have the pitching to do that right now? With we don't know Maxiel's long-term status. He's dealing with an injury. They reconfigured some things yesterday. Obviously, that didn't work. So, what do you think of the pitching status as you move forward?
Yeah, that's one of the scary things, and that's kind of where West Virginia got themselves into trouble last year. Was the bullpen started to shorten up as the year went along. Losing a weekend starter is one thing, but losing what many would consider your best weekend starter in Maxiel, the leader of your pitching staff, is detrimental. That's really where West Virginia is going to have to pick things up offensively. Going to have to play good defense. I mean, you saw from Ian Corn, he is up to the challenge. So, is the drop off going to be massive? No, it's not. You got a proven guy in Ian Corn, but it's still Maxiel has proven himself to be that guy for West Virginia all year, and West Virginia, if they're going to overcome that loss, they're going to have to start to put up some offensive numbers that they, frankly, yesterday just did not.
Yeah, get the bats going again. All right, look ahead to Cincinnati. Again, Cincinnati started yesterday with the highest-ranked RPI in the Big 12 Conference, despite the fact that they're under 500 in the league. Now, overall, their record is very good. So what are the strengths of this Cincinnati team?
So Cincinnati hits, and I know that's not what West Virginia fans really want to hear, especially whenever you're down a starter and you're mixing up your weekend rotation. But you've got Quentin Coates at the top of the Big 12 in home runs with 23. Jack Natili is the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. A guy that hit 3 home runs on Sunday in the rubber match against UCF to give Cincinnati the edge in that series. And, you talk about Cincinnati beating UCF, a team that came in to Morgantown and took 2 of 3 from the Mountaineers. And really, they were in control of the entire series except for the last inning when West Virginia were able to walk them off on Saturday. So, so you're going to Cincinnati playing a team that took 2 out of 3 to a team that took 2 out of 3 from you at home. You're down a couple of pitchers, and then you're going in, and they're one of the best offensive teams, not only in the conference but in the country right now.
How does a team bounce back in baseball? You've been there, so I mean, if you've been in the sport, you've suffered a tough loss. Baseball, can you put that behind you quickly? How long does that linger?
I think it's a lot easier to do it in baseball than it is in any other sport because you play so frequently. Because if West Virginia loses the game to Houston on Friday night, then they have to turn around and they have to play at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, game 2. So you have to wipe that slate clean, start over fresh from the jump with baseball. It's a constant, major leagues play 162 games a year. College teams play around 60 games a year. So there's not a whole lot of time to dwell on your losses. You really have to jump back at it, and get back, with West Virginia, it's playing team baseball. They've got a lot of guys who are athletic and they can play multiple positions. You're not relying on one person to be that guy every single weekend. So, getting back to playing team baseball is a lot easier than asking, a shooting guard to get back to making shots.
Tyler, these the power numbers in this league this year are incredible. I mean, you saw Landon Harrison with Arizona State. You brought up Natili, who's right up there in the conference in home runs. You've got several other guys, Quentin Coates, the kid from Oklahoma State, Collins already over 20 home runs. Have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, this harkens back to the trampoline bat era with so many home runs in this league and in college baseball.
Yeah, in the last couple of years, the Big 12 has really relied on pitching. Utah's Friday night guy, I can't remember his name right now, but I mean, he had a 1 ERA for most of the year, and he came in, to Morgantown and shut West Virginia down. And, you're looking at the ERAs right now, and the top 4 in the Big 12 in ERA are all Mountaineers. Max Yale at 241, Chanson Cole at 282, and Ian Corn at 322. That's you don't see very many Mountaineers on the rest of the offensive numbers. You've got Gavin Kelly sitting up at 3 and batting average at 397. Guzman stolen bases, Schoenfeld stolen bases, but the rest of them, West Virginia has prided themselves on their pitching, and the rest of the Big 12 seems to be doing the opposite, and they've become extremely offensive. I mean, just look at Pitt last night. One of the things that Coach Mike Bell prided himself on was getting more offensive in his recruiting and building an offensive team so that he could put up numbers like that and protect his pitching staff. So, you've got West Virginia who got out of that game with 2 hits on the night, and Pitt had 2 hits before, 6:35. So it's West Virginia is looking at that not only, in their midweeks, but completely through the rest of the Big 12.
McAnally was the Utah guy from last year.
Yeah,
we did that series together.
Yep.
So take a quick look at the Big 12 overall form, at least the top half of this thing. West Virginia's seen several of them, but not all of them. As I said, Cincinnati coming up this weekend, Kansas at the end of the regular season. Who's the best team in this league?
I think Kansas has proven themselves as that stable force in the league. Of course, you've got to consider West Virginia up there. Baylor sneaky good there for a while. Baylor was climbing up into the top 4 or 5 in that race, but since lost their series to Kansas State last weekend, so that one hurting Baylor. Cincinnati is down at the bottom of the league, but they've got one of the best out-of-conference RPIs. They beat Auburn in the non-conference at Auburn, so that's a very good win that helps bolster that Cincinnati RPI. But as we've seen in the past, the scary teams of TCU, Oklahoma State, Baylor, West Virginia gets TCU at home to end the year this year with that, are they going to be hosting? Mm-hmm. Where are they going to go in the regional on the line? Last year it was Kansas who came into Morgantown and swept West Virginia when West Virginia was on the heels of possibly hosting. Could that same situation arise this year with TCU coming into town? TCU getting hot here at the end of the year. What do they need to do to host a regional?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, just kind of move past this one. Get ready for Cincinnati this weekend. Tyler, we were all just dying with you last night. That's a tough game to call, 23-1. I've been there. I was telling Greg before we went on the air, the worst baseball game I've ever seen was way back in the 90s when I was doing the Mountaineers on radio. They went to Cincinnati and lost a 7-inning game, 22-4. I don't remember. It's been so long ago. I don't remember the exact number of walks, but I know it was over 20. So
it felt like a fever dream because you don't know what happened. A bunch of balls are leaving the ballpark. Guys are getting walked all over the place. But second of all, you're just trying to rack your brain of things to talk about because you still have a 3.5-hour broadcast.
Fill the time. You can't just shut it down.
That's right. You got to be on. Texter asked, was it a record crowd last night? I can give you the box score numbers. Last year for the Pitt game, it was 4,629. Last night's attendance was listed at 4,571. So you do some quick math here. That's about 58 fans short of what the record crowd was last year. But I heard from you and I heard from Brad that the crowd was just it was incredible.
I have never seen that many people packed into that stadium before. And regardless of the numbers of what comes through the gate, I have never seen that many people packed into that stadium and on the hill behind the stadium. So it was an atmosphere that West Virginia baseball has been longing for. Just didn't turn out the way they wanted it to.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, we appreciate your time, and we're looking for – how many home games left? 6. We're looking forward to your work here coming down the stretch.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys.
Tyler Barnette there working the games on ESPN Plus for the Mountaineers. Yeah, the 58 fans shy of an official attendance record, but that doesn't count all the people that are up on the hill by the hospital.
They need to start counting them. They don't buy a ticket. That's fine. You do what you want to do, but at least put them in the attendance number.
You're right. Send a drone up and then have somebody count.
There you go. In today's world, it should be easily done.
You're right. 304 Talk 304. We'll get to the text. We'll talk a little football when we return. This is the CityNet statewide sports line. Speed is important. Security is essential. CityNet delivers both with high-performance fiber and advanced cybersecurity solutions for your business. Visit citynet.net. Remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Some relationships just work better with trust, reliability, and great communication. That's why more West Virginians are choosing CityNet Gig Fiber. Fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local teams monitoring the network around the clock. Plus, for a limited time, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Boating season is almost here, and there's no better place to start your family's adventure than Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Family owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer and true experts in boats, motors, and repairs. Explore their impressive inventory and score some of the best deals of the season right now. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com and get on the water in style. After all, the weekend's almost here.
answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline
Returns in 2 minutes.
on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. And thanks for checking in. Meteorologist Todd Nelson here. We're looking at some thunderstorm development to the north later this afternoon. Not expecting anything severe, but there could be a few pockets of heavier rain as we head into Thursday afternoon, maybe a stray shower here and there, and then quieter Friday out ahead of a front that is going to bring us some pretty widely scattered showers and maybe some thunderstorms into our Friday night, Saturday. So just a general thunderstorm threat across much of the state. Notice that dark green across Ohio. That is a marginal risk. So we had some showers earlier today to the south. Here comes that afternoon shower and thunderstorm potential. Again, a few pockets of locally heavy rain. Time now for our Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. And in Atlanta, we have dry weather through the end of the week here with some isolated thunderstorms developing in Chicago on Friday as well. So panhandle forecast, again, those thunder showers possible later today and into the evening hours. As we take a look at that forecast to the east, you can see those thunder showers again possible through the afternoon. A little bit cooler off to the west where we'll be into the 60s. Overnight lows down into the 50s again with some of those thunder showers eventually eroding. Heading into our Wednesday afternoon, Sutton at 68, Webster at 64, and overnight lows again down into the 50s with some of those thunder showers eventually ending. To the south we go, Welch at 75 degrees, Williamson at 79, Logan 76, and overnight lows here down to 51 in Beckley and Somerville at 52 degrees. Extended forecast again showing a couple of stray showers Thursday afternoon. Most of us will be dry. Again, most of Friday should be dry as well until that front slides through Friday night into Saturday. Widely scattered showers and storms and a bit cooler as well into the 70s.
Sportsline for Wednesday, 304 Talk 304. We'll take some texts here. Mountaineer fans are they're riled up about this a little bit last night.
Well, I've always said, I mean, you know, even if you're angry, that shows you have passion.
It's passion,
right?
No doubt. Texter says Coach Saban says they tried Thacker as the starter because he'd struggled in relief, but Hagan had been effective as a starter, and they took him out of his comfort zone with a question mark. Well, yes, that obviously hindsight. You probably don't make that same decision again. But what they're looking for is guys who can help them in high-leverage situations once you get late into the season, into the conference tournament where you're playing a lot of games in a short period of time and also in a regional. So they're looking for guys maybe a little bit further down the list that they hope can develop. If you put them in these situations, they can help you later. And you're right, having to do it over again – David Hagan probably gets the start, but he got lit up too.
Yeah,
I mean, he
didn't
didn't
come in and he didn't fare very well.
So, and the incredible thing is, every single pitcher who saw the mound walked at least one.
Yeah, that's it, and that's that's ultimately the death blow. In college, I mean, you did a bazillion of those games, but at the college level, I mean, in Major League Baseball. I mean, control's important, but you don't see the just absurd number of walks sometimes you see in the college level that are just, suicidal.
Yeah, well, again, in a midweek game like this with guys who haven't been in high-leverage situations before. 304 Talk 304 texter asks, what do they do before the game? Go into the stands and ask if anybody wants to pitch? 4 hit batters, never seen so many hit batters, plus 15 walks. Pitt had a 6+ ERA, and West Virginia only got 2 hits. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what Tyler said. The offense is quieted down a little bit, and you have to hope that it's a temporary lull and you get it going again.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of fatigue as you get later into the season. It didn't factor in for Pitt. They're playing the same number of games. But, again, baseball's a weird sport. I mean, Tyler said it. It's just one of those things. Turn around and you play a couple days later and you just throw that one aside.
Momentum is your next game's starting pitcher.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes out and pitches well on Friday, you win Friday, you go on, you win that series or sweep the series, everything from Tuesday night is forgotten. 304 Talk 304, this is reaction to the Miles Sadler podcast. Texter says, West Virginia played so many teams last year that the conversation was about their great freshmen and how they might be first-round picks. This young man, meaning Miles Sadler, might be our version.
Yeah.
Well, he's a small guard.
So. Yeah. Well, you hope, though, that he's as impactful as all those other freshmen that we saw from around the Big 12 this past year. I mean, it was an inordinate number. Now, a lot of them are going to be going into the NBA. I don't know what Miles Sadler's pro future looks like at his stature. It's a little bit more difficult than A.J. DeBonsta, who is, 6'10" and does the things that he does. But hopefully he's as good for West Virginia as those other freshmen were.
Mm-hmm. Texter says, do you think moving forward pitching might be an issue for the baseball team? Bad game, yes, but this should be a concern with walks and pass balls, hit batters. You're going to give up a few home runs. Well, they gave up a lot of home runs last night. Yeah, I mean, the pitching's been the strength, as Tyler pointed out. West Virginia, the top 4, I believe he said, statistically in ERA in the league are West Virginia pitchers. So, again, you've got an injury concern now, but you hope going into this Cincinnati series that those individuals pitch like they have throughout the entire conference season, and you just got to go win games.
Yeah. And you said it. Pitching has been very good for this team throughout the year. It wasn't yesterday, and you hope that's not a trend. But as you said, baseball trends last 10 minutes sometimes.
Texter says, what can you say? I was praying during the third inning that there was some obscure 20-run rule on the books that could be invoked to go ahead and put us all out of our misery. Well, Randy Mazey made a good point last night where the coaches, I don't know who passed the rule or how it got passed, but Randy said repeatedly that the coaches don't like that mercy run rule because it cheats players out of at-bats and cheats pitchers out of innings. So there could have been somebody, at the point it's 23-1, and you're thinking, well, how much more of this can we take? But there could have been several young players that get at-bats in the final 2 innings, or maybe a pitcher steps up and does great, and you found something. So his point was the fewer innings you play, the worse it is. He said nobody in either dugout wants to go home early. The fans can leave if they want. You can turn the game off if you want. But the players and the coaches want to keep playing.
Yeah, and understandable. You got a lot of young players you could start to substitute in. Blowout situation like that.
Draft question with first round tomorrow, rounds 2 and 3 on Friday. Texter asks, any Mountaineer players drafted on day 2 or 3 of the draft? Probably not.
I'd take away the probably.
Okay, no. Nobody's going this weekend.
None were invited to the NFL Combine. That's usually a really good indication. And there's not anybody that's going to be drafted by West Virginia this year.
Okay, so not going to happen. Texter says they need to enhance the ballpark and add those seats on the hill, make it a party area. I don't know. I mean, the size of the park seems to fit the demand at this point. You're going to you get 1 or 2 times a year where it's an overflow crowd, but I think when you do get 3,000 or 4,000 people in there, you've got an incredible atmosphere. Now, I don't know, can you spice up things in the concourse and on the hills and that type of thing? Maybe. Enhance, I'm not sure what he means, enhance the ballpark in what way? But in terms of adding seats, I'm not sure. I think it's just about right.
Yeah, I have seen some of those sort of concourse party zones that seem to be really popular in a lot of areas. So you can see that. So maybe that's something I don't know. I mean, WVU Medicine owns the top of the hill. They may not like it if you start doing stuff up there, but you could probably add some things. I did the next change for the baseball stadium will be some luxury type seating, load seating, premium seating that adds revenue. That will be the next thing. They would not. I don't think there's any plan to expand it. But in terms of trying to find some revenue generation through premium seats, that'll be the next thing Renbaker wants to do.
A few boxes. What is there, about like 3 boxes up there?
Yeah.
And there's an area or two you can convert, I guess, to kind of a suite area or party area.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's 3 boxes. One's large, 2 are significantly smaller. So you could do some work in that regard.
Yeah. Exactly, even if it's sort of club level within the stadium and not up in the press box area.
304 Talk, 304 Texter says, sometimes you just have a bad game.
Yep.
There you go.
That's the way to
put
right.
it. When you play 50-plus regular season games, you're going to have a clunker. So on that note, we'll take our final break. We've got more coming up. Text line open, 304 Talk, 304. Stay with us. We're back after this on the CityNet Statewide Sports Line.
When heart surgery is needed, you deserve world-class care, close to home and always within reach. At WVU Medicine's Heart and Vascular Institute, our board-certified surgeons perform heart transplants, valve repairs, and other complex procedures using the latest techniques, including robotic surgery. For more information, visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sports Line
Returns in 2 minutes.
on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind. I forgot
and
about
onions.
this. Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan.
Sportsline, final few minutes. Thanks for joining us, Kyle and Greg. Brad's back tomorrow. We're gonna have an on-the-scene report from the NFL draft tomorrow night.
Yeah, you got somebody up there who's gonna share with us the sights and sounds. It'll be just slightly before the draft. The first pick is actually taken.
The first pick is roughly 8 o'clock Eastern time.
I'm going to be fascinated to see what that crowd looks like.
Well, they're saying 500,000.
I got no desire to be anywhere north of the Mason-Dixon line. We'll be up in Pittsburgh in a few days to do the show. I wouldn't want to be there on any of these draft days.
We are, by the way, planning on doing a show from PNC Park next week. The Cardinals are there with J.J. Weatherholt and Victor Scott. So as Brad would say, we're efforting to make that happen. Looks pretty good. We'll see what the next week brings. Speaking of the Cardinals, they were beaten today by the Miami Marlins 4-1. The good news is that J.J. Weatherholt did not get hit by a pitch. The bad news is, though, he didn't get on base. He had been hit by a pitch 5 consecutive games, which is a new Cardinals record, and as near as I could tell, I think that tied the all-time Major League record. So he did not get hit last night. That broke the streak. But he did get on base. Today he didn't get on base at all, and I think that's just the second time all year. They've played 24 games, and I think he's been on base 22 of the 24 games. Victor Scott's struggling, though. He was hitless today and dropped under 200 for the year, still playing great defense in center field. The Reds, they were beaten today as well, as Cincinnati was defeated by the Tampa Bay Rays 6-1. Cincinnati still in first place in the National League East, and the Pirates, who were beaten at Texas last night, they play Game 2 of their series against the Rangers. And the Cleveland Guardians today, they were shut out by the Houston Astros 2-0, although Chase DeLauter did have 2 base hits, so his average is up to 235. Chase DeLauter a couple of singles as he had 2 of the Guardians' 5 hits, and they were beaten by the Houston Astros 2-0. All right, you think Mountaineer fans are bummed out? Braxton Garrett, who is a AAA pitcher, he plays for our buddy David Carpenter.
Okay.
With the Jumbo Shrimp, the
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Braxton Garrett threw a no-hitter last night, got no run support, and lost. Lost 2-0.
Harvey Haddix, right?
Yeah.
One Pirate pitcher and way, way, way back when, before our times.
The Gwinnett Stripers defeated Braxton Garrett and the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp 2-0. And Garrett went 8 innings. He gave up 2 runs. 1 was unearned. He struck out 6 and walked 3. And that's pretty tough, man. You throw a no-hitter and you lose.
Oh, very much so. Defending AAA champions, right, of the world.
They won the AAA World Series last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp with again David Carpenter at the helm, and he's back there. He went back. He went back this year. All right, so the rest of the week we'll talk a lot of football tomorrow. I want to go over. There's been so much other stuff. This Pitt game was huge. The lead up to it and all the fan excitement and the aftermath. So we've spent pretty much the last 2 days talking about that. Monday we had baseball to talk about as well, but I do want to kind of go over your thoughts on the depth chart, your updated depth chart coming out of spring. Were there a lot of changes?
Not really. I mean, obviously with so many new players, it was just an unknown as to what it would be at the start of spring. And then as you got through and we got a chance to see them, you start to formulate some things in your mind, and then watching how the rotations went, even though they were divided up into 2 separate teams, you sort of have a feel. And again, I won't tell you that what I've put together is 100%, but I think it's a pretty good idea of where this thing's going to look like. And because there's no other transfer portal period, it's going to be pretty stable as we move through into August and probably even the first game. I won't tell you it's going to be 100% right. I'd be foolish to do so. But I think a lot of what we're going to talk about in the days ahead about what this depth chart looks like is ultimately going to be accurate.
So the off-season workouts get underway here soon. I'm sure everybody got a little bit of a break. And then, you're off and running from there. So a lot of football talk tomorrow. Again, we'll get an eyewitness account in the middle of the 500,000 people that are going to be in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. We'll do that, and we'll talk Mountaineer football as well. Friday, the Mountaineer golf team is headed out to the Big 12 Conference Championships, and we're scheduled to be joined by senior golfer Caleb Wilson coming up on Friday. Mountaineers had that great showing in their own invitational tournament, and now we'll see if they can replicate that, play well in the Big 12 Conference Championship tournament. They've certainly got a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence heading into that event. So we'll visit with, we're scheduled to be joined by Caleb Wilson on Friday. We'll look ahead to the Big 12 Golf Championships. All right, well, enjoy your evening.
Sounds good. You too.
Appreciate it.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Thanks for listening and watching the CityNet statewide sports line from inside the Health Plan Studios. And again, that Miles Sadler 3 Guys Before the Game podcast is out there. You can watch it. You can just listen to the audio as well. So check that out at WVMetroNews.com.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.